3 previous clashes between these two teams this season is that it does tend to go right down to the wire. Exeter scored 3 goals at Carlisle. Played a very neat formation. They were safety first, with Carlisle having a couple of long throw experts in their team. But I know, Danny Higginbottom, in the build-up to this game, you've been talking about the confines of the pitch being a deciding factor.
Yeah, I was speaking to a few people before the game, and the length of the pitch is, I think, near enough the same as Carlisle, but it's the narrowness. Spoke to Keith Curl as well before the game, and he said they've been practicing the long throws. Certain players within the team who do take the long throws have actually had to take a little bit out of the distance that they're throwing it.
Well, in many ways, the pitch may help Carlisle United, who have a very decent away record, the 7th best in the league. One thing Keith Curl hasn't enjoyed, though, are too many clean sheets. Only 1 shutout in 18 away games. Not so far away from here at Yeovil. Meanwhile, Exeter, 3rd best away record at the 18th best record in the league at home. There's a familiarity between these two sets of players after they met on the final day of the season. The managers have tried to change it around with formations, haven't they? And, well, they worked wonderfully at the weekend for Keith Curl.
Yeah, it did do. You know, both started with a 4, then both ended up playing with a 3. You know, Paul Tisdale, he's a manager that's played 2 or 3 different systems actually during games. You know, he's not been bothered about that, and likewise with Keith Curl. So what you do see at the start of the game, believe me, the system-wise, it won't stay like that too long, especially in Exeter's point of view.
Well, it's a great shot on the turn there from the danger man Watkins. And Carlisle's Tom Miller has gone down. He's taken the full force of that from the lively Watkins. I'm sure it's been scouted by a number of higher league managers today. 21 years of age, he's a talent.
He is, and he was fantastic in the first game. I think the link-up between him and Wheeler, fantastic in the air when the ball's played up to him, and every time, we've even seen it in the early stage, when the ball's played up to Wheeler, you can guarantee Watkins is going to gamble and try and get in behind.
Whereas Carlisle not afraid to play to their strengths, which isn't tippy-tappy football in midfield. They have big James Proctor up front, who scored the winner in the 3-2 success. And if you haven't seen them before, both of the fullbacks, Tom Miller and Danny Granger, should be at the Olympics throwing javelins. And they go, transferring the pressure. Keeping goal is Bobby Alejnik. Vastly experienced goalkeeper who was recalled for the first leg between these two teams. It was felt that he was better at dealing with crosses, and he very much did so.
No, he did. He wasn't afraid to come, and that's what you want. When there's so many balls coming into the box, you want the keeper to come, you want him to be authoritative. OK, he got a few of them wrong, but more often than not, he was coming for the ball and probably justified the manager's selection. Even though, OK, they conceded 3 goals, there was very much that he could have done with them.
I'm sure you know the story. Carlisle beat Exeter on the final day of the season to make it to the playoffs. His team have been in front 6 times this season against Carlisle, haven't yet beaten them. There we go. Scene has been set. Going to see a lot of challenges like that. Tom
right
Miller
back.
getting stuck in.
It's a right back, Tom Miller going up against Holmes. I don't think it'll be the last time we'll see them 2 clashing either.
Lee Holmes back in the team, his 9th club. Seems like he's been around in age. He's only 30 years of age. But of course, he's a man who made his debut as a 15-year-old back in the day. Ranger doesn't win the head of the goalkeeper. It's a little shine coming off his line. Eventually decisive goalkeeping from Mark Gillespie, who made some great saves in the second half of the first leg, but showed a few nerves early on.
Yeah, he did, and this is exactly what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Every time Exeter do look to go long, they're playing it to Wheeler, fantastic in the air, especially that far post. And there you go once again. Watkins always gambling and looking to get in behind them. There's been a couple of occasions now where it's nearly come off for them.
Ball hit long by Craig Woodman to the lively Watkins. Michael Rains clears the ball. Centre-half who was sacrificed in the first game as there had to be an emergency change of tack from Keith Curle. There's Proctor, used as the battering ram, doing battle with Troy Brown again. The rock on which the Carlisle defence is built. It certainly looked like handball there by Luke Joyce. The referee being charitable and keeping play flowing. And the man in the middle is Dean Whitestone, policing this game this evening. Policeman by trade. He set out his stall. He's going to let things flow. Interrupted only by his assistant on this near side of the field. Offside. That's
exactly what he's looking to do. He wants to let this game flow. I'm just seeing Proctor here, just looking to get in behind the right back. It's a close call, just offside. But from the referee's point of view, the minute he gives that first yellow card, he sets the precedent and he has to do it. You know, the type of game that it is, going to be a lot of challenges going to be going in the middle of Park especially.
A big game for the players and a big game for the emerging young officials, hoping that they can move up a step as well. There's Watkins. Bailey hitting it long. There is Proctor. Effectively, they use him as a battering ram, Jamie Proctor. Centre forward is on loan from Bolton Wanderers.
What they're looking to do, Carlisle, when they do get the ball back, because the likes of Stacey at right back and Woodman at left back for Exeter, because they're going forward, every time Carlisle are getting the ball back, they're looking to get into them spaces that have been vacated by the two full-backs and looking to get Proctor down the sides of Brown on the right, or Moore Taylor down this left-hand side.
Well, it's a wonderful atmosphere created by the spirited supporters of Exeter City. They all arrived here very early today. It looks pristine this evening. The sun has actually come out, though we have the stadium lights on casting a shadow. When most of these supporters arrived today, it was in a storm. Surprised, actually, that the groundsman was watering the pitch before the game. I think Mother Nature had done it for him. There's the key man, Nicky Adams, the blonde-haired winger. They need to get him on the ball. It's the source of so many of their goals. His own teammate, Little, getting in the way. Hopes teases the ball. It was a good cross. Trying to read the intentions of Holmes, who hasn't been on the pitch from the start in any game since the turn of the year. Woodman. Now Watkins. A lot of nervousness down there and a lot of early passes being misplaced. Not a great clearance either from Gillespie. Now Woodman. It was hit and miss whether he was going to start today. He did miss a number of games, broke his arm. He's out for half a dozen games at the end of the season. Holmes puts the cross in. Watkins is the sharpest striking tool in the box. Lays it back to nobody in particular. Holmes again tries to hang it in the air, but hangs it only into the amused Carlisle supporters behind that goal. Well, it's not quite a sellout, but those supporters have found a unique way of seeing the game.
I think we've seen, both teams that, they both want to attack from word go. And what's been interesting, when Holmes has got the ball on the left-hand side, he's eager to get the ball into the box. We talked about him before, Wheeler. He's just hanging at the far post. He's waiting to try and get a run-up because he is fantastic in the air. Not overly tall, but he gets a fair share of goals coming in at the far post from crosses from the left.
Ranger. Oh, it's not a great tackle by him. Watkins trying to get in there. The intention was read, though, by Stacey. Oh! And Carlisle's defence goes to sleep, and you can't do that when Ollie Watkins is around. That's why he is the EFL Young Player of 2017. Advantage Exeter.
We talked about Exeter when they are going long, they're going to go to Wheeler because he's so good in the air. This time he just out-muscles Granger. See this first touch. Granger just falls over there, he gets back, and it's just poor defending. Little tries to take a touch, just falls nicely into Papa Watkins, takes the deflection on the way through. But defensively, Little in that situation, just seeing getting past Granger, Little in that situation, he just has to clear the lines. Thinks he's got time, but when that man Watkins is around, he hasn't got any time, and he takes full advantage of it. Another defensive mistake. That's what a lot of the goals in the first leg in particular came from. So disappointed in the manner of conceding that goal as well.
There's a shared responsibility between Granger and Little alongside him. Well, they've been behind 7 times now in the 3 and a bit fixtures between these two teams. Miller hauls it in there. Brown doesn't make the header, but it's good communication.
And they're going to have to deal with a lot of this. I asked Keith Curler, said, you know, if you do go behind, he said it's not a problem. He said we went 3-1 behind at home. He said we stick to our game plan. It's not a problem whatsoever for us this season. It's a very resilient team that will carry on regardless, so things won't change for Carlisle. I don't think there'll be any panicking just yet.
Well, there have been early goals in this game. I think I'm right in saying it was the 10th minute of the game. There's a goal in the 9th minute when they played in November, and also a goal in the 9th minute when they played here on the final weekend of the season. So it's following the same pattern. He had waited a while for a goal. He hadn't scored in 12.
I thought he was very good in the first game. Watkins has been, you know, he's been linked to the likes of Derby and Southampton, and you can see his movements very good, plays on the shoulder, and as he showed then, he's always gambling. Can he get into the right areas? So, like I say, that was a prime example of doing just that.
Brown has to make the header. Or Taylor to Woodman. There's an assurance about Exeter's style of play. Better header this time from Little. Now Granger, who was caught out by the sharp mind of Watkins. Little again. No direction on his header. Ryan Harley has to be connected with by Rains. And there's Proctor. Now Lamb, first time we've seen him. He was one of the stars of the first leg for Carlisle. One of those unpredictable types. Don't think he knows what he's quite going to do, but his intentions were right.
Fantastic defending from Moore Taylor. Just kept his eye on the ball, didn't commit himself. That was a very good break. And Lamb, like you said, he was excellent in the first game. Sure, you see a few of these challenges. It is a late one from Bailey and Taylor.
He's a well-travelled midfield player, third James Bailey. Played in Ottawa and in Pune City. In fact, the last time he scored a goal was in the Indian Premier League. Well, they say this is a family club. There is Tisdale. I'm not quite sure he's having a word with the fourth official.
I'll be very happy with the start that they have made. And what they've done very well so far, actually, you just see them with the action areas. What they're doing, they're playing such a high tempo that they're driving Carlisle back. So when Carlisle are getting the ball, they're wanting to play it long, which is understandable the way that they want to play. But because Exeter is so much on the front foot, the ball's going up to Proctor, and he's got 3 players around him. He's got the likes of Brown and Moore Taylor, the 2 centre-backs, and Tilson as well. It's difficult for Carlisle to get out at the moment.
Woodman. Harley. Brown. Stacey hitting it long. Again, a miss. Control from Little. Watkins, they've learned their lesson. Harley is dictating things to Holmes, giving width on this left-hand side. They're sensing a weakness on the left side of the Carlisle defence.
Well, I think it's a lot to do with Wheeler. I think, you know, the simple fact is, okay, he may come in narrow at times, and what he'll do, he'll drag Granger in with him. See the ball, the switch here. You can see that Wheeler just gone in that little bit, leaves that space in behind. The fullback that time, Stacey, to get into, but yeah, they have done that very well. It's a it's a key weapon that Exeter do have, in particular with Wheeler, and like you say, they've pinpointed them at that area.
He's one of those players that was a bright young spark, played for the England schoolboys, came back into professional football from Staines, and he's the key man in the success story of Exeter this season. And I was saying before, it is the family club. That is Andy Tilson, who is the first team coach. He's watching his son out there tonight. Jordan Tilson was drafted into the team as extra security in front of the back four. Proctor. Malaysian isn't going to take any risk whatsoever, gets it as far away from his goal as possible. Here's Proctor. Well, Exeter will have been told that games can turn in an instant. A couple of goals in a couple of minutes. He will have drummed into his players to stay sharp, especially when they have these long throws. It's about 30 yards away, so they're going short. Proctor. Well, they have thrown Michael Rains, the centre-half, into the penalty area there, which suggested they were going to go for the long throw. Ranger. Somebody to put on the ball in that Carlisle midfield. Away goes Adams. Good turn of pace, and it'll be a confidence-building tackle for Jack Stacey, the man who's been loaned from Reading, maybe going back to a Premier League club. Well, this is as good, if not better, than a corner for Carlisle. Granger looking for Rains at the near post, and now they get the corner. And two of the goals on the final day of the season came as a result of the ball being hurled into the Exeter penalty area.
The interesting thing is they're doing the same again, Exeter. They're just putting the one man out there, so it enables Carlisle to play the 2v1.
Adams, little header. Oh, it's a painful, eye-watering block. But they've got everybody back in there, literally everybody.
They have, but like I say, the short corners, they keep allowing it, like they did in the first game. They don't seem to have learned from that. Carlisle are able to play a short one, which means they can get a better angle.
Here is Adams. Can go on the left, can go on the right. Puts a cross in with his left foot. Woodman has time. They're a man short at the back, Carlisle, as Rains has been up there for the last 4 or 5 minutes. It was James Bailey who was just holding the position. Granger. Proctor and Brown. They kept in play. Spotted by the referee's assistant on the far side. Can't rely on their defence here, Exeter. In their last 9 games here, they've managed only 1 clean sheet, but they haven't had a shutout at home in the last 5 games at St James's Park. Lamb. Here's Moore Taylor, and the misfortune of scoring an own goal in the first game. Gives it away to Lamb. Lamb to Adams. The arm goes up, the flag stays down, but he runs out of space in the tight confines of St James's Park.
I was asking Paul Tisdale, you know, at the start of the season, they didn't have a great start. It was a very poor start, and I asked him why, and he said, well, the back four had a lot of injuries. He told me that he played 2 centre-backs at the combined age of 59, and I said, well, you know, that's not too bad. He said, yeah, but the problem was, one was Matt Oakley at 39, and the other was the young up-and-coming player who was only 15 at the time, and that's Ampadu.
Well, Ampadu has been a regular in the team. He's not available to the manager today because his mind is literally elsewhere. He's sitting his GCSEs. Lamb. Now Proctor. Back to Lamb. Lamb trying to get into the area where they have to be careful with their tackles. Proctor. Easy to read. Ranger overcommits. Woodman. Or Taylor. Watkins dropping deeper. Hopes. Now Watkins started the move. At the head of things now. Great feet by Watkins as he toys with Joyce. Back to Holmes. He wants it on his left foot. Whistle it in, the keeper. Oh, just hangs on to that for dear life.
Did well to get it back again. What Watkins did really well here, he dragged Joyce out from the central midfield area. That meant that there was space then at the edge of the area for Holmes. Got onto his right foot. Gillespie saves and then gets it at the second attempt.
More space for Proctor. Oleshnik had absolutely no protection there. Centre forward has an incredible work ethic. We mentioned Ampadu. It was easy for our cameraman to find him up there. Can you believe it? He's a big lad, only 16 years of age. Youngest ever player for Exeter. And his dad was a fair play for Exeter as well, who started at Arsenal. Kwame Ampadu, and now he's the head coach of the up-and-coming Arsenal players. Proctor. Jamie Proctor looking for support. He's had the tough job of replacing Charlie White, who is still the leading scorer of Carlisle United. He's got 18 goals, but moved to Bradford in the winter transfer window for 400,000. Absolute bargain for Bradford, and left a big hole in the Carlisle team. Caught in possession. And again, Hopes tries to go around Miller. Gillespie. The ball up for Reggie Lamb. Watkins. Wheeler goes flying down that left-hand side. Guarded by Bailey. Stacey, who made the move from deep in his own half.
Yeah, and it's a great run from him. We've seen him do that a few times. Wheeler just coming inside, dragging Granger, the left back, inside, and then Stacey getting down the outside. It's working really well for him. There seems to be a good partnership between Stacey and Wheeler. Is this game getting underway?
Sun in the eyes of the keeper Gillespie. Rains header away. Or Taylor's still in there. And at the far post wasn't offside. It's picked up by Ryan Harley. Harley's cross. Keeper has difficulty seeing it and indeed hanging on to it. Good early throw from Gillespie to Lamb. Watkins. Well, he does look a class apart, doesn't he? Absolutely oozing with confidence. And is stopped by Michael Rains. Or Taylor. Leshnik could have gone anywhere. He is fortunate that it found Jake Taylor. Stacey beginning to have a big part in this game. Rains header away. Now Woodman. Both fullbacks encouraged to attack. Holmes. Harley can't pin him down to position. He's the man who's making things happen. Woodman. Toing and froing from the Carlisle defenders. Fans want a shot. They're losing patience. And it's a shot, but it was too true a shot from Ryan Harley. We have a goal here. We have a development in the other game as well between Luton Town and Blackpool. Remember, this was 3-2 from the first leg. Well, Blackpool have scored. Alfonso making it 4-2 an aggregate there. We've got a chance here for Carlisle, and it's James Devitt. First time we've seen him this evening.
That's what they're looking for, Carlisle. They want to play off the second ball. You know, when the ball's played up to Proctor, plays to gamble. This is exactly what we're talking about when they're playing this long ball. Devitt, you see, he's just gambling time and time again. Brown gets dragged in, creates that space for Devitt. That's what I'm talking about. I'm surprised in a long goal kick, just as we're seeing this again. But it's not Tilson just sitting in front, because what happens is the centre-back Brown, he gets dragged out. There's a huge gap then between Moore, Taylor and Stacey. That's where Devitt's getting into.
Much better tackle from Gary Little. He and Granger were caught napping when Watkins scored that goal after 10 minutes. Maybe as they jetted here, it is jet lag. The Carlisle team normally head everywhere on coach, but as it's such an important game, the trust directors granted the manager's wish to fly from Newcastle to Exeter Airport.
He also ate at the chairman's restaurant yesterday evening, I believe, before they started. They spent the last couple of days together, and Keith Curle wanted his team to be together. They ate out yesterday evening and the evening before, just to keep the players together.
Bit of a gamble here, pays off for Miller. Joyce. Lamb. Temptation for Carlisle to just throw the ball in there, but as you can see, they're trying to change the pattern of the game and move the ball around. Just isn't working for them so far.
It was interesting because, you know, when speaking to Keith Curle, I said to him, was there any aspects that disappointed you about the first game? He said, yeah. He said, we got the ball into some areas, but we tried to play the way that Exeter were playing. So we were taking 5, 6, 7 passes, when in all reality, what we want to do, what is our strengths, we want to get into the box. And I think that's exactly what he's saying to his players. It's exactly what he's saying there. You know, when you get the ball into key areas, get it into the box.
Keith Curle is a manager who has taken this club on quite a journey. Bottom of League Two, no wins in 14 games when he took over the manager's office. And here they are, hoping they can turn another game around against Exeter City and get to Wembley. At the moment, it's Exeter who are going to be measured up for the Wembley suits for the 28th of May. Here's Holmes. Harley. Now Holmes. Given a bit too much space there by Miller. Or Taylor and Tilson having an evening stroll.
the players are starting outside the 18-yard box, trying to create space for them to run into.
Holmes, corner, Rains takes charge. Now Lamb. Joyce leaves it for Adams. Taking no prisoners at all there, Jake Taylor. Even our cameraman down there needs shin pads on.
Just interesting, very much role reversal. We expected Carlisle to be the one getting all across them, but I think what Exeter have done, we talked about it, the best form of defence is attack. The likes of Adams and Lamb in particular, the two wingers you'd be expecting to get the crosses in for Carlisle, they're actually spending most of the time in their own 18-yard box, because Stacey at right back and Woodman at left back for Exeter, they're pushing them so high. So therefore Carlisle aren't able to play to their strengths at the minute.
Carlisle do have a good record of turning games around. 22 times this season they've gone behind. On 6 occasions they've emerged as winners. A lot of experience in the team as well. They don't really carry any young players in the Carlisle side. Proctor. Looking for Nicky Adams. Talking about experienced players. 30 years of age, Nicky Adams. He's had 4 promotions, looking for his 5th. For Rotherham, Northampton, Bury, and even Leicester City 8 years ago. There is Adams. Rangers cross. Half-hearted appeal for handball. There's one lone voice from Michael Rains. There is Proctor. It's a great ball inside towards Adams. But when there's a 50-50, it's the home team have been a little more committed.
Yeah, I think they've looked the more energetic of the two. They've started the better, and they're thoroughly deserving of the lead so far. And that can change very quickly, as we saw in the first leg.
There goes Rains, 2 to greet him. Devitt. A roar of approval for every header, every tackle from the Exeter players. Proctor's header. Malaysian has been largely a spectator so far. Or Taylor. Granger to Bailey. Now Adams has the space. Does he have the support? Lamb was in there, but he'd got ahead of the ball. Moore Taylor scored an own goal, remember, at Brunton Park. He's happy that that one goes for a corner.
You see, once again, only 2v1, whether Carlisle will do it, once again, just to try and get that better angle or not. And Exeter is leaving it.
Away is the cry from Malaysian. Brunton Park, all of the ball boys were given a towel each, and ball girls as well, of course. Ball assistants. Here there are no towels for Tom Miller. Uses his shirt. It's a tighter pitch. He throws it to the near post. Very well organised defending by Exeter City. And they force Carlisle all the way back into their own 18-yard box. Mission achieved. Tilson. Little misses out the midfield. Brown selling his midfield short. It's Bailey to Adams. Good run here from Granger. Another corner. They're inching their way back into the game, Carlisle.
They are. You know, like you said, Keith Curley said he won't change the way that he plays. You know, if they go 1 down, they go 2 down. He believes in the way that he wants to play, and he'll carry on regardless with that. And got them back into the game and back into the tie on Sunday.
Adams swirls it in. Rains come in on the far post, but Troy Brown has been such a key player this season. 6'1", 26 years of age. He has grown into the Exeter shirt after getting released by Cheltenham. Miller's throw. Rains doesn't get a full head on the ball. They crowd him out. Miller, first to play it in with his foot. He's going to get another throw. Miller, low trajectory. Rains plays it back. On the corner, they're continuing to pummel them. This time it's Jamie Devitt with the shot.
More often than not, what they're doing, Rains is looking to get around the far post, and it's more tailoring him about him having a real battle at that far post.
Devitt. Now Adams. All time and shooting space for Bailey. Committed challenge from Ollie Watkins.
It's fantastic defending. Carlisle worked it really well. They played the short corner. Everybody got dragged in. Bailey then gets the time and space. And Watkins, the centre forward, doing the defensive side of his game.
Proctor literally grappling Woodman out of the way.
Look at the possession, Carlisle. Not surprising, but I think what Exeter are doing, because they're playing so high and because Proctor is at times being isolated, Carlisle are having to try and play the way out from the back, because otherwise Proctor's isolated, and that's leading to more passes in their own half to try and build up the play to Proctor.
Reggie Lamb draws more Taylor from his sentry post. Doesn't have a lot of support. The option is Luke Joyce here. Back to Lamb. Now there are three in there. Proctor fighting for space. And a very loud and convincing cry of handball. I know Danny Higginbottom has a view on that. And there are two or three having a word with Mr. Whitestone, the referee. We heard it, we didn't see it so much, but it certainly didn't sound like it was a head that had been applied to the ball. This is Adams. Granger throws in the cross to Leishnick, leaves it to his defenders. Needed that touch from Moore Taylor. And it's Lamb who gets a bit heavy-handed. Was it or wasn't it?
Wow, it was an interesting one. Looking at it in real time, it looked as though it was handball. It's a fantastic ball in from Lamb. You see Proctor goes up. It's... I tell you, just having another look at this now, he puts his hand up. He looks again. He's gone to handle it. I don't actually think it's touched his hand. I think it's a good decision from the referee. He hasn't actually touched his hand, but you can see his hand shouldn't be up there in the first place. It really shouldn't be. You know how much of a threat Proctor is in there. That touches, there's no doubt about it, that's a penalty. So you've got to give credit to the referee, Dean Whitestone, because like you say, it looked like it could have been a penalty, but it wasn't a touch.
Well, in a couple of years' time, the referee will be able to head over to the video assistant, who may need even more replays than we've had to ascertain whether it was handball or not. Woodman. Oh, it's a silly tackle from Tom Miller. He flattens Lee Holmes. It's been a well-disciplined game so far. The referee hasn't seen fit to offer a yellow card. That may be a final warning, though, to Miller.
I think the referee did very well. You can see Holmes gets there just before. So Miller's just the slightest bit late. Like you say, I think the referee is reffing the game very well. The unfortunate thing that you find is that the referee will be totting things up, and then there may be a player that's not made a foul in the game yet. He could make that next foul and could be the first one, unfortunately, to get the yellow card.
We can mention at the weekend that Carlisle were having dominance of the game, and every time we mention that, it seemed that Exeter scored a goal. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Ryan Harley stands over the ball. It's a very high defence which is operated by Carlisle. There's Holmes. Little. Lets it go out of play. Well, there has been a goal at Kenilworth Road. Luton have pulled a goal back. It comes up from Kelvin Mellor. They're back in it. Blackpool still have the advantage in that game. Exeter have the advantage over the two games here. 7 goals between these two teams. When they met in November, and Exeter went to the bottom of the table. The goals in the final minute and the 97th minute for Carlisle United. Ball is there to be won. It's getting a little bit back-tempered now. Well, there were changes from the bench in the first game. John O'Sullivan, of course, came on 11 minutes into the second half and scored a vital goal, as did George Waring, the youngster who's on loan from Stoke. And it was Sean Miller there who scored the equaliser to make it 3-3. There's no panic yet, though, from Keith Curle. I'm sure he's going to stick with the same tactics. It was a dramatic turnaround. There were 2 goals down in the first leg. Coming at the far post is Adams! Well, he had all the time in the world, and that was maybe the problem. He needed an instinct reaction rather than time to think.
If you wanted the ball to fall to anybody from across, you would want Adams. A fantastic ball back in from Joyce. Just looking at the far post, Adam comes in, no one anywhere near him. Stacey had been dragged inside to Proctor and left Adams spare at the far post. And like I say, if Keith Cole could have asked for any play for that ball to fall to the feet of, it would have been that man.
Reigns. Now Watkins. Holmes. Brilliant run from Harley, who's been one of the eye-catching players of the first half. Stacey raise it back. Better from Bailey. Well, they've had to sit back, they've had to absorb, as Carlisle have come out of their shells in the last 10 minutes of this game.
I think the last little run, the last 30 seconds has told you so much about the game, so much about the first half. Exeter been first to all the second balls. That's what they've done really well, and they've not allowed Carlisle to settle. They've not allowed them to get into a position where they can put decent balls into the box, because they're just all over them.
Trying to play Carlisle at their own game here and launch a long throw. I'm not sure that Ryan Harley can launch it like Granger and Miller. Watkins. Harley throws it in. Proctor. Or Taylor utilises his experience, stands on the ball, just draws breath. Half-time is close. This is Watkins. Miller, left alone, wisely kicks for touch. Woodman. Now Holmes. Harley. Excellent run by Holmes. Teases it to the far post. Adams helps it on. That's not a good clearance by Adams. Early ball in. Rains can't get there. Luckily for him, Miller was alert. Here's Proctor. Just a single minute added to the first half. Time running out here for Carlisle. Adams isn't going to get there.
It's interesting. And referee Dean Whitestone is just speaking to Tilson. I don't know whether he's tried to play the advantage, then he has played the advantage, then just having a word with Tilson and just saying to him, you know, you're fouling him. No, he's just had a word with him. He has played the advantage, hoping that Proctor would be able to play the ball to Adams, and he's just come back and just said to Tilson, just be careful.
Here's Watkins. Half-time whistle goes. Advantage Exeter City at the moment. Their young star, Ollie Watkins, breaks his 12-game run without a goal, thanks to the provision of David Wheeler. The big talking point at half-time is, did it or did it not roll off the arm of Troy Brown? The Carlisle supporters and players swear that it did so. There's some motivation for Keith Curle, but Carlisle have scored 2 goals in each of the matches that these teams have played previously this season. At St James's Park, room for thought for Keith Curle. His team are trailing Exeter City by a single goal. Well, is he the man whose goal is going to lead Exeter their first ever Football League playoff? He's hoping so. Ollie Watkins, the EFL Young Player of the Year, is the difference between the two teams. It was a touch of class when the Carlisle defence had a little sleep. Well, they've staged a couple of second-half fight-backs against Exeter this season, and they're straight back into the faces of things. There's Adams, and the first save of the evening for Bobby Olejnik. No half-time changes from either manager. It did work for Keith Curle, but it was a needs-must situation at Branton Park. Good early start for Carlisle.
It was. You know, I don't think, you know, Keith Curle, I don't think he'll be too worried at the moment. He won't be getting too desperate. He knows that, you know, if they can get the right balls into the box, and you've got players with the quality of Proctor and Adams as well.
Oh, what a lightning, frightening start this is to the second half. Whisked away. I'm sure that the Exeter manager, Paul Tisdale, has told his players not to be so laid back. That's 15 minutes of the first half. They were allowing Carlisle to attack them.
They were, there's definitely no doubt about it. I just wonder, you know, when you look at the substitutions, you talk about Sullivan and Miller, that made a real impact when they come onto the pitch. You just wonder how long it is. You just see the ball going up to Proctor now, just look how isolated he is. You know, he hasn't got much support around, it's very difficult. Just wonder how long it is before he may be joined by someone like Miller, who came on. His movement was very intelligent.
It's a very open start to the second half for both teams. Stacey. Time, space, just throw it in there rather than designing a cross. Well, I thought the pulses of the players may have slowed down at half-time, but they've come out here full of vigour. Keith Curle on the far touchline, screaming at his players. Roll back to Olejnik. Did nothing in the first half. Had to be very, very alert, didn't he?
No, he did. You know, just... So we'll see that in a second, but Tilson, that was fantastic for him, and that's what he's in there, and into them covering positions. Like David was going to break through, and Tilson was the one to mop everything up for danger.
Tom Miller. Throws a dummy in there, short throw. Back to the feet of Miller. Proctor's not going to get there. Well, I'm sure he told his players to get out there and to attack from the start. Look at this, straight from the kickoff.
Well, they did just that. You know, it's the second time that Adams has found himself at the far post. This is a better effort this time, and eventually comes to him. Being a good strike, good save from Mileznik. He held it well as well. And that's what they'll be hoping for, and that's why I don't think Keith Curle will be too concerned at the moment, because he believes that his team will get opportunities.
He's been a great source of creating goals this season, Nicky Adams. Popular player at the club, took 5 awards at the ceremonies last week. Wheeler. Woodburn to Watkins. They're very wary of his danger now. Paul Tisdale, when we asked him before the game what he said to his players, he said it was a clarity of thought. Watkins. Stacey. Holmes is on the far side. Does he have the beating of Miller? Yes, he does. It's a very good cross, and it needed the reading of Rains. It was like a throwback with the terracing behind that goal that Exeter are defending. The big bank, as they call it.
It's interesting, Exeter keeping the plays outside the box. Put the space there for them to then go and try and attack.
Well, they're making Carlisle think. A lot of movement in that area, but Proctor's been around the block a few teams. They've got a spare man here in Adams on the left-hand side. Proctor sees him now and finds him now. Adams just has to hold things up to wait for the cavalry. They're on call. Brilliant defending. This is developing into a very open game. Bailey, the enforcer in midfield.
There's been plenty of challenges in this area, no doubt about it, and Bailey's been involved in a lot of them. And as Paul Tisdale has said, I think they were 3-1 or 3-2 up, and they were going for more goals. And Mileznik went to throw a long ball. It came for him. It came to nothing. Paul Tisdale, he clapped his goalkeeper, and I said to him, I said, why did you not want to slow the game down? He said, that's not how we play. The minute the game gets slowed down, that is against us. So regardless of the score, we want to play quickly.
He rightly said, it's not how we start the game, it's how we finish. A team that does have belief. They left it late here on the final day of the season. 2 goals in the final 18 minutes turned that match around and ensured that they made it to the semi-finals of the playoffs.
Just had a really good clip of Tilson there, the job that he's doing for Exeter. Moore, Taylor and Brown, they sat in nice and deep, and the play that went up with Proctor was Tilson. I mean, the 2 centre-backs kept nice and tight, and if Proctor does win that ball, your 2 centre-backs are then ready to come and win the ball instead of having to run back towards their own goal.
Rains, a little unbalanced. That's his second head on the ball. Before he stops play, there's a head injury down there. There's a heavy landing as well for Michael Rains.
Going to go and say it's a painful one, he'll be okay, but I think the way that he fell could well be winded. Just see how he falls here, right on his back. Definite sore one, but struggling to get his breath in for a few minutes. I'm sure he'll be okay. It's a little bit of breath in there.
It was early in the second half at Brunton Park that they made changes. They took Devitt off, changed the shape of the team. John O'Sullivan came on in that game. O'Sullivan and Miller scoring the vital goals and made it 3-3. At what point does he consider changes?
think a lot of the times you look at managers, maybe around the 60-minute mark, I think the thing is that you look at the impression, you look at the difference that they made when they came on. Okay, O'Sullivan scored. But for me, I think Miller as well is very clever. So if you're going to be playing long balls up to Proctor, can you have the intelligent players, the likes of Miller, can they get around him, you know, and create a lot of problems? So I think it'll be in Keith Curle's mind now. Like I say, I don't think there's any real desperation to do that at the moment. Maybe give it 10 minutes. I'm sure there may be a look to maybe make a few changes.
Rains gingerly returns to the field of play. Miller to Proctor. Exeter not wanting to give away any throw-ins in the final quarter of the field, not with the danger of the two long throw experts. Little. Gillespie puts his full might behind the ball. Rains. Proctor. Referee gives the advantage. Can Carlisle take it? Excellent skills by Devitt. Poor cross. Danger hasn't gone away. It's a stretch shot from Luke Joyce. Rains. It was a spirited start to the second half from Carlisle. There's always the danger that they can go too far forward. There's an excellent run there from David Wheeler. He's a man who can turn nothing into a goal. Forceful play. This is Watkins. Now Wheeler and support, trying to find a gap, and he found it between the boots of Danny Granger. They're getting him on the ball in the second half, Wheeler.
Well, they are at times, no doubt about it. Watkins just dropping that little bit deeper. Wheeler gets it onto his left foot, gets it through the legs of Granger, but it's comfortable enough for Gillespie.
He's the man that headed off and studied politics and sport at the university. Has a column in the local newspaper, David Wheeler. If they win, they shall be reading all about it. Gone over the second half. As you can see from our cameras, this place is bouncing. Tom Miller with a long throw, comes off the head of Brown. Proctor unable to get there. He was handled strongly by Jordan Moore-Taylor.
Moore-Taylor does really well here. Proctor a little bit of frustration, but Moore-Taylor just holding his ground. It's fantastic defending.
Well, it's Keith Curle who has blinked first. Sean Miller, who scored the vital goal in Carlisle, has come on for Jamie Devitt, who's had little effect in the game. Devitt was the player who was sacrificed in the 56th minute of the first game. Will history repeat itself?
Well, I think the one thing that we were talking about at times, Proctor's just been up there on his own. It's been very difficult for him to get runners around him, but you can guarantee Miller, every time the ball's going up to Proctor, Miller will be looking to make them runs off him.
Adams, brilliant, takes on two, finds space. Can he find a blue shirt? No, he can't. Moore-Taylor is having an excellent game, the skipper of Exeter. Still dreaming of leading this team out at Wembley. Granger to Adams. Granger, corner is prevented for now. Stylishly played out of defence, but a match is there from Granger. The referee takes the word from his assistant. I don't think he saw that himself, Dean Whitestone. It was a foul. Needed his assistant on the far side in the Mark Wilson to bring it to his attention.
Fantastic play from Holmes, just taking away the pressure. And a late challenge from Granger. It's only a matter of time before a yellow card was given, and Granger's the unfortunate man.
Well, the first caution of the evening, Danny Granger goes into the book, his 7th yellow card of the season. Meanwhile, Exeter are making a change. Joel Grant has come on, and Lee Holmes has given his manager, well, almost a good hour. Icing down his shoulder, he must have taken a heavy landing at some point. This is a man who'd only appeared 3 times in the team since the start of the year. And that was as a substitute, but he's had a big impact on the game. Well, Grant was an eye-catching player in the first game at Branton Park. Scored and assisted too.
Once again, the Exeter players staying outside the box, trying to have that space near the penalty spot to run into.
Harley's corner. The idea was to find Brown. Grant heads it in. This is Adams. Sean Miller has gone up front to support Lamb. Proctor's gone to the wing. Good feet by Proctor. Committed challenge. Anywhere will do for Brown. They've got Exeter thinking here. It's a little change of formation from Carlisle United. Brown's header. Falls to the Exeter substitute Brown. It's a 3-on-3 situation. Jamaican international steps on the gas. Chased down by Luke Joyce. He's happy. It's up at the stadium clock. Time is on their side. They're a goal ahead on the evening, a goal ahead on aggregate. Grant tiptoes down that touchline. Puts the cross in, Gillespie. Good catch. Eyes darting everywhere. Mark Gillespie trying to get things moving for Carlisle. Proctor has even more support now from Miller. I think the word from Keith Curl to Miller is to go up there and get in the faces of the Exeter defenders. Got 2 heavyweights to deal with now. Well, Brown, positive header back to his keeper, Lejnik. Adams. Little. Charged down by Watkins. Was that combination that led to the goal in the first half, and Watkins forces Gillespie into a tremendous save, keeping the game alive.
Oh, it's an outstanding save. Outstanding save, Little. And he's tried to clear it first time. As you can see there, Watkins just used his strength, fantastic strength, but what a save that is from Gillespie. It really is.
Harley to Grant, happy to slow it down to walking pace, then he speeds it up. Bit of a very good cross as well. Problem for Exeter, that all converged at the near post. Adams clears the ball. Miller, little nudge in the back, but it started from an offside position. It's a very tight game, but there's one player shining above all others.
There isn't. You know, he made this himself, using his strength first, blocking the initial shot. This from Gillespie, absolutely fantastic save. It really is a great save, and the first one to go up to him and thank him is Little.
Grant. Another familiar face will be introduced. John O'Sullivan replaces Reggie Lamb. And so the 2 players who scored the goals to turn the tie in the first leg are on centre stage.
Joy's pleading his innocence. It's just the fact that he leans into it. It's that motion that probably gave it away and made the decision for Dean Whitestone, the referee, easier.
Well, little touch. Oh, so very, very close. Moore Taylor getting up there, the skipper at the head of the queue.
Now he's nearly 1.5 cents to the other. Moore Taylor gets his head on it, and Brown just can't get there at the far post. Used to see him defending in a partnership at one end, and nearly combined at the other end.
Easy for Granger. Pushes it back to Gillespie. Most of Carlisle's problems are of their own making. There's Proctor. Easily anticipated by Woodman. Rains. Gillespie. Joyce. Headed down by Miller. It'll take a minute or two for the two substitutes to get the manager's message over to the remaining players. Meanwhile, in the other corner, Paul Tisdale readjusting his players. He's come in, he's done a very good job acting as security. Jordan Tilson. Wheeler uses the safety outlet of his keeper, Lesznik. Granger. Woodman coolly heads the ball down. Miller can feel the edginess between the two sets of players. Brown lays an arm across Proctor. The referee saw nothing wrong with it. All part of rough and tumble of football at this level. Here's Adams. Drawing two defenders, but rarely getting past first base of Jack Stacey. Granger just allowing Little and Rains to get in there. Launches it to the near post. Yeah, all arms and elbows in there. Well, almost 3/4 of this game gone. Of course, the other semi-final this evening is at Kenilworth Road. And how about this for a vital moment? Oh, how about that for a cheeky penalty from Danny Hilton? That could be leading Luton to Wembley.
How calm's that? Wow, he wouldn't have been so confident at the crossbar and come back out, but brilliant.
May as well try a penalty like that now rather than do it when it comes to a penalty shootout. Granger. John O'Sullivan. Little dash, drops the shoulder, makes some yards down that left-hand side. Energetic player, John O'Sullivan, who came on a free transfer from Blackburn in January. A few words in the ear of Tom Miller from the travelling Carlisle supporters. Launch it in there, I'm sure is the words from the big man. Off balance, off target shot there from Luke Joyce. Now Granger. O'Sullivan gets a very good cross in as well, but it's the Exeter players who are keeping their feet, keeping their cool in a difficult situation, and the experienced Joel Grant buys some time as well.
See from Keith Curl why he has made the substitutions. See Exeter still having a large amount of the play in terms of the attacking. Keith Curl will be hoping that changes with the introduction of Miller and O'Sullivan. We've already seen on a few occasions the ball going along to Proctor and then Miller picking up that second ball and bringing in O'Sullivan on the right hand side.
Well, they've been nail-biting moments for those Carlisle supporters. 347 miles away from St James's Park, much nearer to the other St James's Park, but they won't have lost belief. They know their team has incredible belief and durability and spirit. Rates. O'Sullivan. They've come on, they've livened things up, the substitutes, but still not a fully functioning Carlisle United. Referee buying himself a little bit of thinking time there. He thinks that is worthy of a caution for John O'Sullivan. An occupational hazard.
There's no complaints from O'Sullivan. There's a little bit of frustration. It's a late challenge on Woodburn.
That's the challenge of a player who feels his Wembley dream maybe slipping away from him. Wheeler comes in from the wing. Proctor. Now Joyce, worth the shot, had the keeper concerned.
It's a good effort from Joyce. Tilson have been dragged out of the middle to Proctor. It's a good strike. It's always going wide. Alejnik comfortable enough, but good enough effort.
He's only scored one goal this season. That was against Crawley, which was voted the Carlisle goal of the season. Top trumpet if he scored a goal here to equalising this game. Miller. O'Sullivan. Ball across the line. Paul Tisdale guided Exeter back into the Football League 9 years ago. He had promotions in his former job with Team Bath, the first university team to get into the FA Cup first round since Oxford in 1880. Now a team Exeter City doing here. It's Miller. Adams. Adams has got absolutely no change whatsoever out of Jack Stacey, who was drafted into the team this evening.
Yeah, I think from Paul Tisdale's point of view, it's because Stacey's getting forward loads, and I think Adams is doing a lot more defending than what he would have to do, and he's trying to dictate, or having to dictate a lot of the time from a lot deeper than what he and Carlisle were wishing for him to do, because he's got fantastic delivery, but he's finding it difficult to do it 25, 30 yards deeper than what he usually would.
Well, in the first leg, Goals are in the 72nd and the 73rd minute. That's when Carlisle staged their major fight back. Rains heads it down. Joyce throws a foot at it. Practor tries to find the space. Brown makes an emergency clearance. Exeter throwing bodies in the way. Only little is left at home. Now Grecian. Carlisle fans behind the goal. They're attacking, want the ball launched into the area. Adams takes a long, winding route. Miller. O'Sullivan. Stood too long on the ball, and the momentum is lost. Miller has to make up for it, but he's had the ball stolen off him by Grant. Watkins is screaming for it. Does Grant go solo? He does. Excellent, excellent, wonderful. Oh, tremendous save from Gillespie. It was Joel Grant who once has been a hero. Here is Watkins, who was his support there. Watkins. Thrown into the far post, Carlisle. Their nerves must be jangling there. They left all of the doors and the windows open.
It did, it's fantastic from Grant. He uses his strength really well to get rid of Miller, and then he's going through and he takes, first of all, gets the better of Liddell. And the next one is Bailey, gets the better of him as well. Just trying to put the finishing touch in. But once again, Gillespie, okay, made a few mistakes. In the first leg in particular, in the first half, he's been outstanding this evening.
Joel Grant went to the Copa America with Jamaica last year. Didn't play, but he probably spent a lot of time watching Lionel Messi and tried to emulate him then.
Wasn't far off.
Third and final change. And you can read the thinking of Keith Curle. Once again, he sacrifices his central defender, Michael Rains, and brings on Jason Kennedy. Man who hasn't scored a goal in 2017. He has 15 minutes to make himself a hero. Adams. Proctor backing into Troy Brown, gets a nice header down. Miller. O'Sullivan full steam ahead. This is Adams. Stacey stands off him. First time he's got a cross in. And insurance header from Jordan Moore-Taylor.
It's been excellent. Moore-Taylor in the right position once again. You look now at the extra physicality that is in the box for Carlisle. Now with Kennedy on, see O'Sullivan as well, Proctor's in there, Miller.
Well, that little roll of the ball will be a subliminal message to the Carlisle players in the area. Every Exeter shirt is back in there, and they do a good job. Goal kick, breathing space. Well, they've come by train, plane, automobile. Maybe a few of them have hitched a ride here as well. And so far it is a wasted journey for the Carlisle supporters. There's a cold wind, literally now, blowing around Brunton Park.
Near enough gone now to a 3-4-1-2. Carlisle with Proctor and Miller up front with Kennedy just behind. You can guarantee every time they get the ball now they're just going to go long, and then they're going to be hoping that the likes of Miller, Sean Miller and Kennedy can get up and support Proctor.
I do reiterate that Carlisle have turned every game around against Exeter this season. They've won 2, they've drawn 1, 2 3-2 successes, 1 3-3 draw at the weekend. They have to dig very deep. They've used all of their substitutions. Here is Proctor. Adams draws Stacey. He has a two-man tag team now. He maybe settled for a corner. Nobody backing him up. Wheeler. Watkins. Grant would like it to his feet. Joel Grant. Oh, it's a weak shot, but still, Little had to throw himself at it. The discipline is going out of the game, which, for the neutral, is making it far more entertaining.
Well, like you say, the finish on Sunday was brilliant. I don't expect this evening to be anything different. Carlisle obviously making the substitutions. Seem to have more forward players on the pitch now than defenders.
Wheeler, willed on by the big bank behind that goal, as they're known. Now Watkins, good feet, sends the defender, and they will be sending Exeter down Wembley way. Ollie Watkins at the double.
That's absolutely brilliant from the man of the moment. We talked about Carlisle throwing more men forward. See Watkins, his movement is so good here. He just drifts over to the right-hand side, isolates Granger, tucks inside him, and how about that for a finish? Absolutely brilliant. Give great credit as well to the tireless Wheeler who feeds him. But the strike is absolutely spot on. Don't care who's in there. Put two keepers in the goal if you want. Neither of them will be saving that one. And just look what it means to Tisdale as well.
Well, you can see an outpouring of emotion from his manager. If they do go up, he may well have to do without Ollie Watkins next season. I would imagine at home there'll be a number of managers just texting their chairman and directors, seeing what kind of bid they can make for Ollie Watkins. He's on a hat-trick now. He's got a hat-trick the day after his 21st birthday against Newport County.
Well, it was interesting. I think in January there was a lot of talk of him leaving, and he mentally so strong. The night before, when everyone thought he was leaving, the next day they played Colchester, and according to some, gave the best performance that a lot of people had seen in an Exeter shirt for a long time, and I think set up all 3 goals against Colchester.
He may well have topped that this evening. Day has turned into night in Devon. It's looking pretty dark for Exeter. Sorry, for Carlisle United. It's Granger's shot. Ball ricocheting around. Olejnik can't get there. They're back in it yet again. Once more, it's a super sub. This time, it's Jason Kennedy. Put those Wembley suits on hold.
As usual, the game comes to life late on. Wow, what a finish we're in for here. This is just a melee. Give great credit to Carlisle. They do not allow Exeter to clear it. Just when Exeter think they can clear it, they can't. Sean Miller takes the opportunity, and then great credit to Kennedy, who follows up. You think that Grant's done enough on the line, but look at the determination and desire of Kennedy. I think it's safe to say, game on. It's there, the determination and desire. He wanted to make sure that he got there to get Carlisle back into this game, and he did just that.
Well, surely they can't do it again. They scored 2 late goals when they last came here on the final day of the season to inch their way into the playoffs. And when they played in Cumbria in November, the goals came in the 89th and the 97th minute. When they played earlier in the week, at the weekend, it was goals from 2 substitutes. We've got a goal from 1 substitute tonight. This is Grant. It's going to be a tense final 10 minutes. Maybe what they need is a psychologist. That is what Julian Tagg is by trade, a clinical psychologist and Exeter chairman. Their minds are going to be scrambled, aren't they?
Oh, mine is. It's just like a rerun on Sunday. So 2 players going in here.
Well, those supporters behind the goal on the big bank were doing the conga. Now there's a mass biting of nails. Meanwhile, they've had a break in the student party. All round to theirs.
Exactly. Stop the party to watch the game.
And suddenly it's the Carlisle supporters that are making the noise, singing with hope in their hearts. Referee trying to organise a drop ball here. As Watkins agreed to knock it back to the goalkeeper. Or is it going to be all in? Gillespie, dear me, not a time to play keepy up, is in your own 18-yard box. Rains hits it long. Proctor, full steam ahead, the goalkeeper comes, and that was tremendous goalkeeping from Bobby Alejnik. He was recalled as Christy Pym showed a little bit of weakness on the final day of the season, and the man who's had 8 clubs, including a couple of playoffs with Peterborough and Torquay, has been a steadying force.
No, he has. His starting position throughout the 2 legs has been fantastic, and that was what just was needed there. He started really well because Proctor looked as though he was going through.
Well, I'll ask you in a moment to try and work out what the Carlisle formation is at the moment. They kind of went to a back 3. I think it's a back 2 at the moment. They just have to sacrifice everything, aren't they?
I think they're just going 2-8. So 2-8 to try and get back into it. Listen, give them great credit. You know, the one thing I would say about this game over both legs so far, the honesty, the commitment, and the desire and the determination between both sets of players has been very honourable.
Alejnik seeking out Wheeler. Believe it or not, Exeter's home record is only better than Orient, and indeed as bad as Hartlepool, who of course were relegated from the Football League. Grant. Into the final 5 scheduled minutes we delve. Excellent header from Troy Brown. Ranger leaving it to his keeper Gillespie. Surely misses out midfield. That time, that kind of situation was just going to launch it. Proctor accepts gracefully the referee's decision as he bumped into Tilson. Goal kick, a little bit of breathing space here. 4 minutes remaining here. It looks as though it's Exeter who are going to be making the, well, 200-mile journey to Wembley Stadium. A little bit further from Carlisle. You have to add on an extra 100 miles, but they would happily walk 500 miles to get there, I'm sure. Now, do you put your foot on the ball at the corner flag and you keep things flowing? Watkins opts for the latter. Proctor, the centre forward, is in the right back position, chasing the ball, frustrating the life out of Carlisle United. Well, meanwhile, in the other semi-final this evening, Blackpool have bounced back. It's Ganangele who has scored a vital goal here. And that is a topsy-turvy game, 5-5 on aggregate. This, of course, is 5-4 on aggregate. Is there a twist? Another twist in this tale. Grant. Joel Grant, happy to just play down the clock, keep the ball on that far touch line, pen Carlisle back. There he is again. His job is to just keep the ball by the corner flag. Shields it from O'Sullivan, who does win it. Who wants to win it was the cry from the Carlisle bench. They're not just talking about the ball, they're talking about the tie. They're talking about promotion.
Exeter still trying to control the game, even they're under a bit of pressure from Carlisle. That's what they want to do. They want to be good in possession. Carlisle going forward again now. Once again, great defending for right back from Stacey.
Well, it seemed a fair call there from Adams. He thought that he got a corner out of Stacey. No time to stand around arguing. They've got to reshape. You can see the sweat-stained shirt there of the young fullback Stacey. It's been a topsy-turvy existence for these Carlisle and Exeter supporters. Both teams have dipped down into what was the conference. They've both bounced back. Exeter heading to Wembley for the first time in a Football League playoff. Carlisle have been there 4 times, but that was in the Football League trophy. They've twice fallen in the semi-finals. They have a minute, plus however long the referee gives us bonus time to turn this around, to take us into extra time. Of course, I'm sure, as you know, there have been so many playoffs over the past week. Away goals have no bearing in the Football League playoffs.
You always see the last minute or two. I imagine Carlisle will probably get one more chance. I'm going to commit a lot of numbers forward. You'll probably find that Gillespie, and then for Carlisle, will find himself the only player in Carlisle's half. They're just going to commit everybody forward. They've really got to go for it now.
One final throw here from Carlisle. Adams with the cross. Oh, time stands still, they've done it again! Look at that, 10 seconds to go! And O'Sullivan comes in, and history repeats itself. The referee is trying to curb the celebrations. He's got no chance. How many times are Carlisle going to do this and break the hearts of Exeter City? If looks could kill.
Oh, what a header this is. It's a good ball in, but this is all about the desire, the commitment, the determination for O'Sullivan to get on the far post. He has no right to win this. No right at all, but just look at him there. Oh, and it's just history repeating itself. It really is. Great play from Nicky Adams, but what a header that is. Right into the ground, gives Alejnik absolutely no chance. And Carlisle, we talk about resilience. Well, they are one of the best teams for it. Giving everything. Once again, we talk about the substitutions, made the impression. 2 substitutes scored again. They just never know when they're beaten.
Unbelievable. Keith Curle's team came here on the final day of the season, scored 2 goals in the final 15 minutes of the game to get themselves into the playoffs. When Exeter were at their lowest point, they scored in the 89th minute and the 97th minute. They also beat them, well, also drew, of course, turning the game around. It was 8 times now this season. They've come from behind. Oh dear. Troy Brown gets to know our cameraman down there a little bit better. 5 additional minutes. This isn't over yet. I mean, I know that's obvious, but there's a lot of life in those 5 minutes.
But we said just before Carlisle scored, we said they would get one more chance. It's always going to be the case. It's whether they could take it. And because they've got about 8 forward-thinking players on the pitch, we're going to get opportunities. But it was a great header from O'Sullivan. He had no right to win it.
Stacey. Did he fall or did he slip? There's some very tired legs out there, some tired minds as well. Carlisle United preying on the tired minds of Exeter City. The keeper gives it away. Time stands still for Kennedy. You knew what he was trying to do. Scored the gripping goal. Now, it's like an NBA basketball, this game, isn't it? From one end to the other. Here's the dribbler. Joel Grant calmly plays the ball back. And Gillespie is waiting gleefully. This is a weak shot from Ryan Harley.
What a chance it is. As well, Grant does really well down the left-hand side, and if anything, Harley just hits it into the ground, takes all the power off it. It's comfortable enough from Gillespie.
When the LMA were wiring managers up and measuring their heartbeat and their stress levels. breaking the hearts of the young supporters and the old ones.
10 goals over 2 games so far. I think neutral could complain about that. Supporters might have something to say, but the neutral has been absolutely, you haven't been able to take your eyes off it.
Here is Adams. Still 2 minutes of the additional time. Watkins, remember, he's still chasing a hat-trick. The referee sorts out a little local difficulty on this near side of the field between two experienced All-Pros, Ryan Harley and Adams. Well, credit to Keith Curl. Made his 3 changes. And it's worked for him again. 10 minutes ago, we saw Paul Tisdale celebrating. It wasn't quite an Antonio Conte type celebration, but he thought he was there. And now look at their body language, arms crossed. Keith Curl's hair has gone a little greyer, I think, during the course of this evening. Stacey rolls the ball in. Shoot is the chorus. Shoot he does! Winner! Unbelievable! Jack Stacey with virtually the last kick of the game. Looks like he is sending Exeter City to the Twin Towers. And what a goal to win it!
What a goal. He's been excellent all evening. You see Adams, he's been having to track back with him. He switches off this time. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. It's another one who's in that net. Gillespie, he's not saving that. What a strike. But we talk about Adams, how good he is at going forward. He just switches off for that split second. That creates a space. Stacey goes into it. And what a beautiful strike that is. And look at the reaction from Tisdale. You see how much it means to him. He must think to himself now, OK, it has to be over now.
One final launch here from Carlisle United. The referee said 5 minutes. We've had a goal in that 5 minutes, and Exeter City are walking on air at the moment. They're willing him to blow that final whistle, Mr. Whitestone. Paul Tisdale does like to be seen as Mr. Court. He's bouncing down there. How much longer is he going to add? Carlisle are pinned back. He may allow them one final attack. Who knows in this game? This could be ultimate revenge for Exeter. Adams doesn't get that. Referee takes a long, lingering look at his watch. And Exeter have done it in this incredible topsy-turvy, two-legged tie between Exeter and Carlisle. Everybody connected with the club gets involved. The Carlisle players are left down, broken-hearted. A thunderous winner from Stacey wins the game. A couple from Watkins as well. So many twists and turns. Fireworks on the field. Fireworks during the course of the 96 minutes that we had.
It's been an incredible game. And the attitude and determination from both sets of players, it's so unfortunate, but there has to be a loser. But the one thing is, every single one of these players that took part in this semi-final can walk away with their head held high because they gave everything they got. And just at the last minute, it's the only way the game could end, wasn't it?
Well, it looked like it was going to be heading to penalties, but they have reversed the trend, Exeter City. They lost in the 97th minute when they met in the league earlier this season, and they have done it right at the death. And this little club from Devon heading to the capital. They don't know who they're playing yet. We'll reveal that very shortly, because the other game has been just as exciting as this. And somewhere down there, we're trying to locate Guy Havild. He's the tallest man in the stadium. But Guy is trying to find one of the players, and he can understand the mass outpouring from the Exeter supporters, Danny.
You can. They were in the bottom two for 59 days. You know, Paul Tisdale, you've got to give him great credit. He stuck to his belief, believing that he could get through that patch. He's done it. He's had to deal with a lot of injuries, and this is what they've got now, the rewards. They've got to the final, like I say, for Carlisle. Listen, let's not forget about them. They've been absolutely fantastic over the 2 legs, and they'll consider themselves very unfortunate. They give as good as they got, but Unfortunately, there has to be one winner that goes to Wembley, and full credit, and it's Exeter City.
Well, that Grecian's flag is flying high. Has the feel of a continental game, doesn't it? The mascot is down there amidst the supporters. The students are enjoying their time in Exeter. That's not going to be the only party in town tonight, I can tell you that. I'm sure that Paul Tisdale won't be allowing his players too much celebration. Remember what he said before the game, it has to be clarity of thought. Try telling him that at this moment in time.
His celebration didn't give that clarity of thought. It has been an unbelievable game. That man in your picture as well, Watkins, he's definitely on the way up, no doubt about it. Playing with a massive future ahead of him, and that's what you look for when you see these players that stand out. Can they do it when the pressure's on? And that's what he's done over the 2 legs, no question.
Well, this is a club who hasn't had the greatest history. Club that Michael Jackson was a director of back in 2002, and his friend Uri Geller introduced him. Noel Edmonds is a supporter. I don't think he's down there on the field. Chris Martin from Coldplay, another celebrity supporter as well. But it's the rank and file who are enjoying it down there. And also the trust of the club who have financed this team. A number of the players' wages as well have been paid by the players. The likes of Joel Grant has a contribution from the supporters towards his transfer and also towards his wages. Everybody has pulled together, and it was that togetherness which has taken them in the direction of Wembley Stadium and that hollow turf. It's just dawning on them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's interesting when you talk about the association with the supporters. I think it's Sweeney, he signed him from Reading. He wears the number 31 from the 1931 fund that was set up by the fans to pay the wages, so everybody's involved in it. You know, it's a huge family club, and you can see what it means to everybody. It's such a huge occasion, and I think we talk about resilience. The Carlisle, obviously we've seen it over the 2 legs, but the resilience of Exeter to do what they've done throughout the season. Like I say, found themselves in the bottom 2 when they got beat by Carlisle earlier on in the season. Nobody could have imagined these scenes would be happening right now. So it's full credit to everyone involved. The manager by sticking by his principles, and the players for having the belief to follow what the manager wanted them to do.
Well, to put it into context, Carlisle were bottom of the Football League when they lost against Carlisle United on the 19th of November. He was so short of players at the start of the season, Paul Tisdale, that he had to name himself as a substitute against Oxford at the back end of August. He wasn't just making a point, they were so short of players. But he's been allowed to recruit. Some of the injured players have come back. He's had the opportunity tonight before the game to make 3 changes to the team, and certainly his changes worked, didn't they?
Well, they did do, but he said, because I asked him how was he feeling after the game, how were the players feeling, and he turned around and he just said, well, at the end of the day, you know, win, lose or draw, we treat the players the same way. And he says that the environment around the ground, around the training ground, is key to making the players be successful.
Well, the supporters on the terrace, and there are literally terraces here. The big bank behind the goal that Stacey scored that thunderous goal in. Enjoying it, singing their hearts out. They thought it had slipped away from them when O'Sullivan scored that goal with the final kick, but what a game.